Recording going here. Hi there everybody, my name is Laura at Kelland-May and I'm from Thistle Ridge Stables and Thistle Ridge Skill Builders on Facebook. And tonight we're going to be going over looking at essential oils and how we can use them to help our horses. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm not sure if that made any difference to you or not, but I can see the chat box, and if you want to make any comments or have any questions, just put that in the chat box and we'll be able to discuss it. We've got a small group here this evening, so let's get going here. I became interested in essential oils because I found that horses were really interesting and they really knew what they wanted, and I really felt that essential oils was one way to help them out. And you know, when horses in the wild, they search out and they get their own remedies from the herbs and grasses that are around them, and because we've domesticated the horses, that they're unable to do that or do it as much as they could. So I just thought it was a very interesting opportunity to use essential oils with the horses on very many different levels, and we're going to be talking about that. Now, the other thing I want to make sure everybody understands is that I am not a doctor or veterinarian or psychologist or psychiatrist, and the information is intended for educational purposes, and I don't diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or replace any treatments from a medical professional in any way whatsoever. So the decision to use this information is at your own discretion. I have to say that. So over the years, these secrets oils can provide, and you can have the horse you always wanted to have. And if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me at laura@essentialoilsynergy.ca, or you can give me a call or email me or find me on Facebook. I do more than just essential oils. I'm a senior judge. I judge a lot of horse shows in the area, going to Kingston, Belleville, and I'm going to Winnipeg, Manitoba this year as well, and also judged in Nova Scotia, judged in Quebec, so mostly Eastern Canada, Eastern Central Canada. And I'm a certified coach, so if you have any coaching situations, I can also help you with that. And I do some rider level testings, which is something that the Equine Canada and OEF has started to put into place. So I'm not just an essential oil person. I do also have an excellent training background and practical background in the horse show aspect, so I really help people understand what the judge is looking for and get the horse-rider relationship working really strongly so that they can become a team that is very competitive in the show ring. So tonight what we're going to be covering is a little bit about essential oils, the importance of the quality of oils, and the different ways you can use oils with your horse, and the top oils to have in your oil kit. Now, I'm not sure if anybody has any oils or if anybody's even familiar with essential oils. Kelly, you said you were doTERRA rep. Kelly Arlette from Spencerville said she was with doTERRA and found out from somebody who signed her up, told her to come and talk with me about the essential oils. And I know Kelly LeBrun down the street, you have a little bit of experience with essential oils, and I'm hoping that we can get you some more experience and get you more interested and really understand what it is that the oils can do and what the oils can help you with. Okay, Kelly Bartlett. Kelly Artlett. Okay. That's good. Okay, so now I know who it is. Kelly Bartlett. I'm going to look you up now, Kelly. Modern medicine spends trillions and trillions of dollars per year funding global health care. And I just want to know, do you think we're any healthier because of it? Most of modern medicines are made from synthetic agents, and those synthetic agents are manufactured in the lab based on natural remedies that you find in natural plants. For example, the willow bark, silic acid is the foundation for aspirin. So with modern medicine, they've taken and found the active ingredient that stops the pain associated with headaches, and they found that the willow bark that's been used for centuries for headaches, they found out it was a silic acid in it. They manufactured it, made it into pills, manufactured it in the lab so they could patent it and sell it over the counter for money so that the pharmaceutical company can make lots of money. Whereas before it used to be you boiled up the bark of the tree and took it a tea, and also dried the bark and make it a powder and take a teaspoon of the powder. Now they can make it into a pill that they can sell. It's cheaper. The synthetic agents, because our body doesn't recognize all these synthetic agents, there's side effects because our body really doesn't know what to do with all the synthetic stuff that's in the pharmaceuticals. So our body doesn't know what to do, and they're not sure how to get rid of this stuff, so that's what happens to make the side effects. And realistically, the pharmaceuticals, generally speaking, because I'm not an expert on that, is that they're designed to manage symptoms, whereas essential oils and natural medicines are designed in a holistic approach to help your body make itself better rather than manage the symptoms that you have. So nature's medicine, nature produces it. It helps meet our body's needs. The body heals itself and you get healthy. There's no side effects. There's no body understands what it's supposed to do with these products, and it can use what it needs to use. Helps get our base, our foundation healthy so it can fight disease and promote our own wellness, and then it goes in this circle. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat box so that we can discuss them. Even though there's a small group here tonight, we can always discuss stuff. Now, essential oils are non-toxic. They're made from natural products, and just because they're made from natural products, it doesn't mean that they can't hurt you. There are some essential oils that are quite toxic, and you have to be careful with them. And they're easy to use. You can get the horses to inhale them directly from the bottle or from your hand, and you can apply it directly to your body or their body. Perfect for home remedies and prevention, and excellent for horses and training. And you know what? The riders can use them too. So very easy, very excellent thing to use. Now, what is an essential oil? Essential oils are the volatile liquids which are distilled from plants, seeds, bark, flowers, stems, and fruit of different trees. So they're aromatic compounds found in plants, and they are very powerful, and they're stronger than just the herbs. They are on the left hand side here. That's a peppermint leaf. And that peppermint leaf, when you magnify it, you can see that on the right-hand side there's these blobs, circles, sacs. And those little sacs are little droplets of oil. And when you get that peppermint leaf and you break it and you bruise the leaves, what you're actually doing is opening up those little oil sacs, and that's what's releasing the volatile oil. And you know, it takes about 50 pounds of peppermint leaf to make 1 ounce of peppermint oil. So there's a huge ratio between the amount of oil you get with the amount of leaf you get. So thinking of how heavy a bale of hay is, That's how heavy, that's about 40 pounds, let's say. So that would make about 1 ounce of peppermint oil. So what happens when a horse gets hurt or injured? You know, it sounds tough, but there's no magic fix out in the wild. And usually what a horse will do will choose a plant that it wants to eat. And I just want you to keep that in mind for later on, because when horses in the wild, they have their own ability to choose what they want. Just like if you seen your dog or your cat get out and chew little bits of leaves or chew on grass, same thing with the horse. If they have an upset stomach, they might go search out this herb. If they have something else going on, they will go out and try to find something else. But with the domestication of horses, we have almost taken that ability away from them. So that's another reason why it's so important that we start using essential oils with the horses. The plants come from natural habitat, and the doTERRA oils is the oils that I use because they are certified pure therapeutic grade. They're the highest quality that I've seen when I'm using oils, and I know that they have stringent testing, and they do third-party testing, so they don't test it just within their own company, but they have a different objective person also company testing them. Now, how do essential oils work? This is pretty neat. I love that picture of that horse. I took that out. He just took a drink of water, and I just think it's a really good picture. That's a picture of Memphis. So essential oils, it's one question that I get asked a lot is how can essential oil be taken into your body just simply by inhaling it? And that's a really good question, because people don't think of how smelling something can be taken into your body and make your body better, or make your body healthier, or help improve your lung capacity, or prevent pain, or help with pain in your joints. So how do the essential oils work? So once the essential oil is opened up and it evaporates, it becomes volatile, the essential oils start evaporating immediately. And these microscopic particles are inhaled through your nose, or through the horse's nose. And look at the size of how big the horse's nostrils are. They're pretty big. Horses are meant to run and to gallop and to run. They're flight animals. They run away from things that frighten them. Particularly when it's windy out today, you know, they like to run away from things that move. So the small hairs, there's small hairs throughout excuse me, the horse's nasal cavity, and these are called cilia, C-I-L-I-A. So these cilia block these tiny particles along the nasal cavity and help these small essential oil particles and guide them to the olfactory receptor cell. And these olfactory cells are along the bridge of the nose, you know, right along the front of the nose where the horse's blaze would be. So in each of these this is getting kind of technical, I guess, has nerves which transmit that smell to a very important part of the frontal lobe of the brain, and it's called the limbic system of the brain, and that is goes directly to the front of the brain. So it goes from the nose to the olfactory, through the cilia, through the olfactory bulbs into the brain. So it's a direct system right into the horse's brain. Now, some of us probably maybe have horses that we don't think have brains, and some of them maybe don't have brains, but it goes directly from their nostril directly into their brain. So that's one way. And the other way is that those small particles get into the horse's nostrils and then get into the horse's lungs, like it goes through the larynx, the pharynx, the trachea, down into the lungs. And if you've ever studied a little bit about horse physiology, you understand that the horse's lungs takes up their 3/4 of their barrel. It's their lungs that take up most of the space. So if all those little particles get into their lungs, this is the fastest way that essential oils can get into the horse's body. So it goes through the nostrils to the cilia, to the olfactory receptors. That's the receptors that's on the bridge of their nose by where the blaze is. From the receptor cells to the olfactory bulb in the limbic system in the front of the brain, and also then through the lungs. And this is the quickest way you can get something into the horse's blood system. You know, it's passed through the walls of the lungs, gets right into their muscles, and although it's the quickest way to get it into the horse's body, it's also shorter lived. So it goes into the system quickly but doesn't stay there as long because it gets expired out as well. It gets into it quicker than if you rubbed it on the horse's skin, but it doesn't last as long, so you have to keep that in mind. Does that kind of make sense to everybody about that? Because that is really important of how it actually works. So these are the grades of essential oils. The most common grade of essential oils is synthetic grade. And when you think of the synthetic grade, what do you think of? Well, these are used for fragrances and perfumes. And as it says, synthetic. They're not real, they're synthetic. They're made in a lab somewhere. It's candles, those scented candles you can buy everywhere, shampoo, conditioners, dish soap, and one of the biggest users of menthol, peppermint, is for menthol cigarettes. So that's another, synthetic peppermint is used for menthol cigarettes. Then the next grade is the food grade, and that's what I think of when I think of food grade is lemon pie filling, gum, cookies, that type of thing. So it's generally accepted as safe for ingestion. And then there's a very small wedge called therapeutic grade, and this is the purest form of essential oils. And the essential oil, the industry is not regulated, so there's not really any measure of whether or not things are therapeutic or food or synthetic grade. And you can be sure that if people are saying that their oils are therapeutic but they're not priced accordingly, then you can be sure that maybe they are thinning it out with synthetic products. So maybe there is some pure oils in it, but maybe they're also putting some sort of chemicals in there or fake synthetic smells that are going to stretch it along so they can get more return on their investment. And then there's an even smaller wedge there, the certified pure therapeutic grade, which is a trademark from the doTERRA Essential Oil Company. They've made their own grade because they put their oils through very rigorous testing standards to make sure that the oil that I buy this month is going to be the same as the oil that I buy next month, which is going to be the same as the oil that you buy, and which is going to be the same that somebody who lives in British Columbia is going to buy it, or someone who lives down in Texas is going to buy the same thing. So they're very, very particular about getting the same grade, that I know I'm getting the same grade every time. No, essential oils are really, really powerful. They're very small, and they're so small that they can be absorbed quickly by our skin. And essential oils also are lipid soluble. That means that they can pass through a cell membrane. So they are also, they can go through the cell membrane, and what's happening with synthetics is that well, I shouldn't say synthetics, but modern medicine, antibiotics, have not, scientists have not been able to make a antibiotic that can penetrate the membrane of a cell. But essential oils, because they are fat soluble, are able to go through the wall of the cell to get inside the cell. So this means that viruses that are living inside that cell can be affected by essential oils. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the doctor and you've got the flu virus or some other kind of virus, and the doctor says, well, there's nothing I can do, that's a virus, and antibiotics won't do anything for it. Okay, so yeah, that's true, because antibiotics cannot get into the cell, but essential oils can go into that cell, and there have been studies that shown that one oil in particular, called on-guard oil, has been shown to be able to get into the cell and kill the viruses. So keep that in mind. Essential oils are very powerful antioxidants, and they create an unfriendly environment for any unwanted things that are living within the cell. They make a poor living environment for unwanted diseases. So that's another thing, though. The essential oils can go inside the cell, and not only do they bring the opportunity to kill the virus, but they also make the cell not very habitable for that virus to live. So it kills the virus, and then also doesn't promote its growth, because it makes the cell not a very good place to promote. And also, essential oils are known to promote emotional healing, physical healing, and spiritual healing as well. Now, how can essential oils benefit my horse? Now, when you use essential oils with horses, you know, I think I kind of touched on this before, that they have an innate ability, an instinct to choose which oils is best for them. Just like we've seen dogs or cats go out and eat grass. Now, I don't know why a dog or cat would go out and eat grass, but they just kind of feel that they need to eat that. They have a innate instinct that they require something from that grass, and they go out and they find out what it is that they need. Now, so if you carry that a step further, essential oils with the horses, they know which ones they need, and they usually pick the ones that they need based on that same innate ability. And you know, when we go and we have a massage with the essential oils, the person doing the massage usually decides what oil we're going to have. Well, horses, pets, they usually are the best picker of whatever oils they want. And in spite of their size, horses are sensitive, and less is usually better with horses. And if you have a pregnant mare, I wouldn't even touch on them. So in a wild situation, a horse would search out a plant it requires, and this powerful ability to do that and consume the necessary wild plants has really been stripped away from horses. And the use of essential oils is just an extension of their natural innate ability to pick whatever it is that they need. You know, we design feed rations for them, we manufacture grains for them, we have specialty pasture mixes to make sure that everything is covered off. But horses really graze and pick at a whole bunch of different things. So it's up to us as horse owners to provide our horses with the best and pure and fundamental things to satisfy their requirements. And no amount of chemical grain additives, feed supplements, balanced rations can replace the fundamental building blocks which occur in the foundation of essential oil. So essential oils can help horses with anxiety, provide relief from nerves, insect repellents, wound care, maintenance, thrush, body wash, parasites, general support, strengthening bonds. So you can also use it for emotional connection. And sometimes horses you can use it for emotional for horses who have lost a friend or a pasture mate. So when you're offering oils to horses, this first thing is you have to ask permission. And this is just kind of you just ask permission from them. Just think as if you were sitting at home at your table having your coffee, tea, breakfast, lunch, something, and someone came in and just stuck something underneath your nose. Well, that wouldn't be very nice. It's very nice just to say, okay, is it okay if I offer this to you? Just gives them a little bit of time to say yes or no. Maybe they don't want to be bothered, and if they're not, then that's fine too. Hold the bottle safely. You don't want the horses to be able to get the bottle with their teeth, and also be watchful of your horse. This is me this last fall offering a bull some peppermint. So I stood there for about, 2 or 3 minutes while he smelled it, and then he just put his head down and shook his head at me, and I thought that was the sign not to progress any further. I wasn't going to get this bull angry at me, but he stood there for about 3 minutes or so and smelled very intently at the peppermint. Anxiety. If you have a nervous horse, isn't that a cute picture? I love that picture. Lavender is a must-have for the house and the stable, except unless you're Kelly LeBrun, who doesn't like it. Well, I shouldn't say he doesn't like it. You probably like it, but she has a skin sensitivity to it. It's the most common of all oils, and you can purchase it from the grocery store, health food store, but remember, the quality is the result. The quality of the result is based on the quality of the oil. Make sure it is Lavandula angustifolia. Lavandula angustifolia. The bottles have the Latin genus on it, and make sure it's that type of lavender. There are cheaper types of lavender. There are harsher blends and hybrids. Lavandin, Lavandin, Lavandin is a copied cat, and lavender 40/42 is a synthetic blend. So you may be getting lavender, but you may be getting a different type of lavender or a synthetic blend. So you have to make sure you're getting the right one, otherwise it won't work. It'll smell nice, but you won't get the therapeutic value, the calming value of the lavender. Lavender is really good. If you having trouble sleeping at night, if you personally are having trouble sleeping at night, put a couple drops of lavender in the bottom of your big toe, and that'll help you out. Balance is a grounding blend, and it's a balance of oils that includes spruce, rosewood, frankincense, and blue tansy. It's one of my favorites. I use it on my horse, and I wonder if I could upload a picture for you, because I have it. I have a picture of my horse. I think maybe that's the one that's on the Facebook invite is the one that I show with balance and the horse. I use that by applying it to the withers and just in front of the tail. Also put a little bit on the tips of the horse's ears, and that helps. Serenity Blend, that's another good calming blend, which has oils including lavender, marjoram, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, and sandalwood and vanilla. So that's another good calming blend. Another one of my favorites that I don't have on the slide is called In Tune. It's a focus blend. So that's a little bit more of, not so much of anxiety, but a focus. Helps horses focus. It includes amyris, patchouli, frankincense, lime, ylang-ylang, sandalwood, Roman chamomile. And that just helps them pay attention and get focused. So the balance is a grounding to give them confidence in grounding them, whereas the in tune helps them to focus. Other oils that you could use are frankincense, chamomile, and also bergamot. You guys are quiet, no questions. So, but on the other side of that is that you have to remember horses are prey animals, and their natural instinct is to run away. They are flight animals, and their safety is based on that they can run. So you have to ground them, get them focused, and that will help. Wound care. Essential oils can be used for wound care. Very easy to make your own wound care salves. We've done it here. Make my own wound salve with coconut oil, cocoa butter, fractionated coconut oil, and beeswax, and different essential oils. So most days you bring your horse in and they're wound free, right? But what kind of care would you give them if they get a scratch or a minor cut? And I'm not saying to, if you require veterinary care and require sutures and require all the things that go along with a major wound, then yeah, we need to get the veterinarian in here. But most days we're wound free and we have scratches, little bite marks, scratches from the branches, or they get a nick here or a cut there, or they rub something. And most things we use are petroleum based, and these petroleum based like Furosin or other things, I can't think of them off the top of my head right now, they sit on top of the skin. So if you use a naturally made product, that gets absorbed quicker and penetrate the skin and get right into the cut, right into where they need to go. These oils are antifungal, antibacterial, they help with the swelling, and they're safe to use. So for minor cuts, you can use Melaleuca, which is tea tree oil. Be careful though, if you're treating pets, not with cats certainly, but be careful with that. Sometimes they do have reactions to the Melaleuca. Lavender is very lovely to use. Helichrysum essential oil is excellent for healing, knitting. If you have a wound that's a cut or a slice, Helichrysum will knit the sides of a wound back together. This past season, a friend of mine dropped something very heavy, a filing cabinet, on her finger, and the top of her finger was really quite crushed, and she had this huge gash on the end of her finger. I gave her 10 drops of Helichrysum, and she put it on her finger, and within about 4 or 5 days it was healed. Like there was fresh pink skin, and it grew fresh skin back. Helichrysum is excellent for cuts. Rose is also very good, but it's very expensive, and if you can buy it, and if you can afford it, and if you can buy clean, unadulterated rose oil, it's very, very good. Lavender is very lovely for burns. For example, let's say if you get girth galls or those rubs, those bad rubs sometimes you get behind the elbow of the horse, or other burning things like scratches, mud fever, those are kind of burny type things. Lavender is good, but if you get a cut or slice, helichrysum is that. So you can think about those things. Also, frankincense is very good antibiotic, and chamomile. Those are also very good things. This past winter, natural shampoos. I've found that I cannot use shampoos with sodium lauryl sulfite in it, because it makes my scalp break out. So I've bought a natural shampoo base and started making my own natural shampoos, which I think is pretty neat. I put a 1/4 cup of shampoo base and then add a teaspoon of glycerin and 5 drops of melaleuca, 5 drops of lavender oil, or whatever oils you choose, and I just mix it up. So, anybody want that recipe for the shampoo? I could give it to you. So I put a 1/4 cup of shampoo base, 1 teaspoon of glycerin, 5 drops of melaleuca. I use melaleuca because in the summertime when I do a lot of riding, I wear a riding helmet, and I get pimples on my scalp because it gets so hot underneath the riding helmet. So I use melaleuca underneath my riding helmet, and lavender to help make it smell nice, water, and then I put another 1/4 cup of shampoo base and glycerin and 5 more drops of melaleuca and 5 drops of lavender. And sometimes I use peppermint, and sometimes I use spearmint, and sometimes I use geranium oil. So it just depends on how you feel about it. So that's wound care. Maintenance. Using eucalyptus for body wash after. You can use the essential oils in everyday body wash, and for daily care. You can purchase horse liniment. My favorite is Tuttle's. I've been using it for years until I saw the ingredients. For example, it has turpentine, it has ammonia, and I went, oh my gosh, really? So I decided, well, I'm going to start making my own. So I started off by putting eucalyptus directly onto the top of a bucket of water, and all that did was left me with an oily, goopy sponge. So I spray the oils onto the horse. I get a old fly spray bottle and I fill it halfway with water, and then I add 20 drops of eucalyptus and some deep blue and peppermint as well, and also lavender so that it smells, and rosemary because it'll smell and keep the bugs away a little bit, and I shake it up and I put it on the horse that way. The other thing I do also is to put oils in I get a handful of Epsom salts, and in that handful of Epsom salts I put drops of oil into it so that the Epsom salts help disperse the oil throughout the water, and that is great for body wash. Now you notice that some of those things, eucalyptus and peppermint, have little asterisks beside it. That's because if you're going to horse shows, those oils may test positive for prohibited substances. So you have to be careful about that. So also, I've also read about doing a body wash. I just recently read this body wash, because these oils are fat soluble, they dissolve in fat a little bit better, putting the oils in a little bit of milk and then putting the milk in the water helps disperse the oils into the water a little bit better. So I'm going to try that this year. I haven't tried it by putting oils in a little bit of milk. I don't know, a quarter cup of milk, and then putting that milk into the water to help disperse the oils throughout. I have used aloe vera gel to help spread liniment, and I have used other body wash recipes to see how things work. One of my favorites was lavender and peppermint in a bottle together. It was lovely. Made the horse's skin coat just really, really shiny, and it made them smell great and help keep the bugs away. Hoof Care. You can use essential oils on your horse's hooves. So Melaleuca is very much an anti-fungal, so you can use that directly on the horse's hoof. And peppermint, you can also put that on the horse's hoof. It prevents thrush. And also Melissa is also another one that's a little bit more expensive than the others. And if your horse has a hoof abscess or stone bruise, usual treatment for that is to soak the horse's hoof in warm water with Epsom salts. You can also add to that, you soak 1 cup of Epsom salts, put 5 drops of lavender and 5 drops of Melaleuca into the Epsom salts, let it soak in, then put that in the water so you have the Epsom salts in the water, and that will help. The lavender will help soothe and promote healing, and the Melaleuca will prevent any thrush. It'll be a great antibiotic for if there's any infection in the hoof, and excellent for thrush as an antifungal. So take 1 cup of Epsom salts, and in that 1 cup of Epsom salts, put 5 drops of lavender and 5 drops of Melaleuca. Then put that 1 cup of Epsom salts into the bucket that you're soaking your horse's foot in. If you do that twice a day, 10 to 15 minutes each time, that will help promote the healing of the horse's hoof. And when we do, I'm sure I know I have soaked horses' hooves for a long time. I've never thought of putting anything in the water besides the Epsom salts. So adding a bit of Melaleuca and lavender will help promote healing and prevent thrush and infection. Internal parasites. I think this horse here is in need of some TLC, and if it doesn't have internal parasites, it needs some groceries. So internal parasites, purchasing dewormers has always given me the willies, especially you read the label. Horse parasites are a problem, and these worms are the leading cause of colic in horses. So internal parasites can cause major problems, and deworming is necessary. Some of the types of worms are ascarids, pinworms, tapeworms, strong eyles, and it's very important that we keep these internal parasites under control. Worms are starting to get smart, and now they realize that these internal parasites are becoming what do you call it? They becoming resistant to some of the pharmaceuticals that are used in the dewormers. So you have to be careful that you have to now rotate your wormers. Well, what I'm saying is let's not get to the place where you have to do that. First of all, worm infestations can be, number one cause is overgrazing. Where horses have to eat grass where they've had to poop on. So because that increases the worm's cycle. They graze, the worms get picked up through grazing, the worms travel through their life cycle through the horse, the eggs get pooped out, the horse have to eat graze, they graze in the areas where they've pooped out the worms, they pick them up again, so it's kind of a vicious cycle. Here I have 4 horses on my property, and I can see definite toilet areas where it's proper manners, I guess, proper etiquette in the horse world where they can poop. It's like a secret code that horses only poop in one area. And if areas become overgrazed, they're unable to provide special spots where they can manure. So when horses graze in areas that they've pooped, they get more worms. So if you are overgrazing, if you've got too many horses in one area, then there's no opportunity for them to have fresh grass and more likelihood that they're going to infest themselves with worms. So you can choose natural herbs to deworm themselves, or chemical wormers. Chemical wormers, there's toxicity. I'm not sure if anybody, chemicals are effective for a time, but now these parasites are getting smart and they're becoming resistant. So the parasites kind of morph and change to become resistant. Now I just see Kelly had a question. Help with the shiny coat. Oh. Well, I'm cutting in and out. Oh, I'm sorry about that. It must be, it can't be my phone, can it? It must be something on your end, I think. I'll write it down for you, or how about if you're interested in that, Kelly, send me a message via Facebook and I'll get that to you. So what I've been doing for as far as deworming goes is I've been using a blend called On Guard, and I've been rubbing On Guard onto the horse's barrel and onto their sides, so that, and I'm hoping that it's helping with the parasites. My horses look in good shape. They certainly don't look like the picture of the horse on that slide. They look in good thing. The other thing is that I'm very particular about rotating my pastures and not overgrazing areas, but I use On Guard, frankincense, peppermint to on their bodies to help prevent the infestation of worms. And I've also heard that, can you email the questions after the webinar on what I missed? Yeah. If I can email you the questions after the webinar, yes, please email me after the webinar. That would be great. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it. So I've also heard that garlic added to the grain will help prevent infestation of internal parasites. Rosemary also is helpful for internal parasites. And I think it's just keeping track of horses and taking very good care of prevention, so that horses don't have overgrazing, and that we keep track of where they're eating and what they're eating, and how to prevent them from picking up, rather than playing catch up and trying to rid them of parasites. It's, for me, preventing them from getting them in the first place. I don't know if that kind of makes any sense or not. So here's a big one, is flies and fly spray. I really dislike spraying chemical fly sprays in and around the stable, around myself and around my horse. I never thought of it so much before because there wasn't really any option. There was just all that oil, and I remember putting spray on my horse. It was a Farnham product, and I remember spraying it on and seeing the tips of my horse's hair burning with the fly spray. The flies never bothered them, but I pumped the fly spray right on them so the flies wouldn't bother them. So, but now I just kind of put up with flies and try to be more natural as possible. So I've gotten citronella, bought a big bottle of citronella, and making my own fly spray, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't work. I don't know if anybody's ever been very happy with the fly spray that they have. So I remember last summer I bought a bottle of fly spray. It said it would last for 7 days. Yeah, right. It doesn't work. Full of crap. So I would buy fly spray with a citronella scent because I like citronella scent, and it would smell lovely but loaded with chemicals. Gone, sprayed the horse, gone to the other side and sprayed. When I come back around, the stable flies are on the horse immediately. It doesn't work. I don't know if any of you have a good fly spray recipe. Love to try it. I have tried. I made it with vinegar, lavender, peppermint, and lemongrass. So vinegar, lavender, peppermint, and lemongrass. It works for maybe an hour if I can get a decent ride in. But I know that I'm not hurting myself. I know that I'm not hurting my horse. I know that I'm not hurting any of the pets around that happen to it. The flies don't like it, but it doesn't last and they come back. I've tried the Terra Shield, which is a doTERRA product, and depending on the time of year and the type of flies that are around, it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. So Marigold fly spray works well. Doesn't have the chemicals the other do. So Marigold. So do you make that, Kelly, or do you buy it? I'm gonna have to try that Marigold fly spray. Oh, 5-span. Good old Murray at 5-span. I'll have to try that. So I'm kind of playing around with different ones, and $30 a bottle. Yeah, so we're going to have to grow some marigolds, Kelly, and see if we can get that. I think the active ingredient in marigold, is it just the smell or is it the pyrethrin that's in there? So here's the top oils for the house or stable. I think number 1 should be lavender. I'm going to change that to put it in number 1. Lavender is good for muscle relaxant, good for calming, good for burns, good for cuts, good for everything. It smells nice. It keeps the bugs away a little bit, and it's the number 1 thing you can have. It. You can use it to help you sleep and helps calming. So that's the number 1 for me. Chamomile's and also another good one. Eucalyptus, excellent. We didn't even talk about breathing. If your horse is COP D, good for that. Helps to breathe, helps prevent sinuses. If your horse has asthma, pardon me, heaves, that type of stuff, excellent. Frankincense, excellent for calming, good for inflammation. Frankincense, we didn't talk about arthritis. Frankincense good for arthritis, for helping pain associated with arthritis, inflammation which is associated with arthritis. Melaleuca is another excellent one. Melaleuca is good for cuts, helps with anti-infection, antibiotic, antibacterial, anti-thrush fungus, antifungus, great for cuts. Peppermint is good for body wash, good to help cool off a warm horse. This is the one that's included, Kelly, in the spray to help get the horse's coat shiny, and also to help with the body spray. Good to relax muscles. Peppermint, we didn't even talk about colic, but peppermint was the oil that I used on the horse this past winter who was colicking, and I rubbed 2 drops of peppermint on its left side once every 15 minutes for about an hour and a half, and it worked absolutely wonderfully to get the horse around. Within an hour the horse was pooping, and it was great. So peppermint's another must-have in that thing. We could do a whole section on just colic and different things to do with colic and the acupressure points and all that stuff. Geranium, another one. Geranium's a great one to include in your fly spray. It doesn't smell, bugs don't like the smell of it, but I love the smell of it. Great to put in a shampoo. It's really good for skin if you have a burn or something like that, or dandruff. Geranium is good. Helichrysum is one of the most expensive. It's around $1 a drop. Helichrysum, excellent if you have a cut or a wound. It knits the sides of the cut or wound together, helps prevent infection, helps prevent inflammation, and helps to grow the skins back together. Rose, if you can afford it and get a pure rose, it can do everything. It can grow skin back together. It can prevent antibacteria, antifungal. It is great anti-inflammatory. It smells lovely. Grows skin back. Great for skin, great for hair, great for wrinkles if you're getting older. It helps with that as well. So those are the kind of summary of all the oils that you can have. Those are my top picks for the tops oils in your stable. And there we go. If you find this information helpful and would like more information, please give me a call. I'd like to meet with you. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.